Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt. Today I want to talk about getting comfortable and accepting the weirdness of the grammar that you're learning when you're learning a language. And I think this is a really important idea, and you shouldn't try to resist the foreignness of the grammar that you're learning or how different or how weird it is. Resistance is futile, and you really want to just accept it and embrace it fully. Because I think a lot of times when people first start learning a new language, they start encountering grammar that's very different than their own native language. Maybe it's concepts of gender of certain words. Maybe it's weird, complex word order. Maybe it's kind of different levels of politeness. Whatever it is, it can be kind of very weird and very intimidating, especially kind of some weird concepts out there like cases or whatever it is. And there might be this kind of sense that, well, this is so weird, like, that makes no sense. And then kind of inevitably what comes after that is this sense that, oh, I'm never going to understand this material. I'm never going to get it. This is way too complicated. I can't understand how anyone would express themselves this way. And really what you want to do is just be okay with the weirdness that you're encountering and just kind of trust that you're going to eventually get more comfortable with it. Embrace the weirdness of that. And it's going to take time to get comfortable with the grammar, to get comfortable with the structure of the language. Because, while it's really weird and very foreign to you, for a native speaker of that language, it's totally normal. And then your language is super weird and super complex and they don't understand that. So, just embrace that kind of confusion, embrace that weirdness, because eventually you'll get comfortable and it'll be like second nature to you. And I think it's just very important to kind of take that mindset of comfortability. It's also really important to note that it's just going to take a lot of exposure to get to that place where it's just very natural to express yourself from a perspective of using cases or expressing yourself with the concept of different genders or whatever it is. It just takes time. And you can memorize a grammar rule, but it takes more than that. It takes exposure in the language. It takes seeing whatever that concept is again and again. So take something like word order that's very different than your native language. You're going to have to see that word order again and again. You're going to have to hear it again and again. You're going to need to express yourself. You can read the like how it works, and you can memorize it. You can totally have how word order works and all the rules and the nuances, but it's going to take time to get comfortable. It's going to take time to be able to use it with very few mistakes. And all that it really comes down to in the end of the day is exposure. Exposure, where you're seeing word order in context when you're reading, when you're listening to audio content, when you're expressing yourself. And slowly over time, it'll become easier and easier. And, like, just because you memorize the material doesn't mean that it's over, right? And you're done. You might even memorize it and then get the sense of this feeling that, okay, I've memorized the rule, but it still feels so foreign to me. It feels so difficult. I'm never going to get this concept down. I'm bad at learning languages. Don't go down that road, because, a lot of language learning is not just memorizing the concept, like the grammar concept. It's being exposed to it again and again. And it applies to pretty much all of the grammar concepts out there, whether it's conjugations, word order, whatever it is. The same concept also applies to learning new words, right? You can remember a word, but it's going to take a lot of exposure to be able to just, remember it like on command immediately, because you'll have words that are very active and then some words that are more passive. And the only way to get those words into that active vocabulary and into kind of this perfect reflex state is a lot of exposure. And you get a lot of that exposure through reading, through just learning the language and just being exposed to more and more content. So same goes for the grammar concept, right? You just need to be exposed to it, right? Especially in context, whether that's reading or listening to audio content or whatever it is, and just trust that cloudiness, that murkiness, that weirdness of the grammar will eventually become more clear over time with enough exposure. So that's what I had to say. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.